Good afternoon, Kent Boehm with 9 Business Group and Elevate Your Business Chat. We have the pleasure of Carl Wright joining us today. Carl, please introduce yourself, your company, but most importantly, what makes you different and what sets you apart from your competition? Carl, welcome to the program.
Thanks very much, Kent. So my name is Carl Wright. So I manage a small boutique engineering company called TSR Engineering. We've been in business for probably about 12 years now. So we specialize in rail transit systems. So metros, high-speed rail, light rail, streetcars. We deal with everything from rolling stock to signaling systems, the power deliveries, traction power, overhead catenary, EMC, straight current, pretty much everything except for the facilities and concrete is what we deal with, and cradle to grave. So we're involved with business case development, conceptual engineering, all the way through detailed design, testing, commissioning, maintenance, planning. A lot of our people have essentially operating and maintenance background within transit systems. So we kind of bring that to the table, which is a little bit niche within the industry as well.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't prep before, but I'm curious. So you're in Edmonton, correct?
Yes.
Which is relatively well known for oil and gas. Has an engineer not end up in oil and gas, but in the transit world? I can see maybe that coming out of Toronto or a Chicago, but how do you end up literally down that path?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting story. So originally from Australia, but I ended up at a university working for Mitsubishi Electric in Japan. So I was based in Japan for a number of years, working in the rail industry there as a propulsion engineer. So working in projects kind of around the Australasia area. And then I was actually transferred to Montreal because Mitsubishi had won a project with Bombardier for Long Island Railway. And that's how I ended up in Canada. But my wife, who I met in Japan as well, who was working for Mitsubishi, but Canadian, is originally from Edmonton. So we kind of ended up essentially migrating our way to Edmonton here.
Fascinating. Very cool. In the 12 years you've been in business, what's been the biggest challenge? How did you tackle it? How did you overcome it? What does it look like today?
I think the biggest challenge is resources, finding people. And originally, when I started the business, to be honest, I wasn't necessarily looking at creating kind of a larger organization. It was really going to be just me as a sole proprietor. I really didn't initially have any interest in kind of building the company. But that kind of changed about 4 years ago, where I started kind of getting more work. And I work all over the world, so in projects in Japan, still in Australia, in the US, all over Canada. And it got to a point where I had too much work for myself. And having worked kind of all over the world and all these different projects, that built kind of a network of professionals that I knew. And it just so happened that an old colleague of mine had recently retired from the organization he was with, and I needed that expertise, and it just kind of like snowballed from there, and then I just embraced the growth. But certainly, I think the biggest challenge, and not just with my company, but in the industry, in the rail industry, is experience and finding people. We're all competing for the same resources.
And is it a dying niche, or is it one that's just not very popular and cool here in Western Canada because of the popularity of other things, civil engineering, oil and gas, that sort of stuff?
Certainly, probably in Western Canada, that might be part of the influence, but worldwide, this is an issue. And I think like there was generally a downturn, like in the late 90s, early 2000s in the industry, where there wasn't a huge amount of investment in rail transit. And so there was this kind of like large gap. And so there were only kind of like a few or a limited number of people in kind of my age bracket at that time that were kind of hired into the industry. And to be honest, it's probably not marketed that well, like within the engineering schools, that this is a viable your career. I think the aspect in that I enjoy is that it's multidisciplinary. So you're not limited to like purely electrical or purely mechanical. It goes across all of the engineering disciplines.
Cool, thank you. In the next 6 to 12 months, as you're looking into 2024, what are you looking to accomplish? Is there a big hurdle you're looking to do? Is there something getting in your way, or is there a big milestone or goal you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah, I think the next 6 to 12 months, I think we've got quite a lot of growth coming with projects that we're involved with and bidding on. And for us, I think it's kind of almost like catalyst year for us. That's coming, and so that's a little scary in some aspects in terms of well, now that we have it, now we have to deliver, and finding the resources and the experience that we need to fill those roles is certainly a challenge. But we haven't necessarily, I guess, found it too difficult in kind of the other aspect in terms of finding people. I generally had fairly good success in terms of like people kind of coming to me actually, asking, okay, well, what are you doing? Do you have any openings? And I think TSR's name's starting to get a little bit out there that we are kind of, although smaller, you're a company that delivers and I think values their people.
Excellent. Well, I think those are wonderful opportunities. The worst problem to have, one of the biggest challenges of business, as you've probably been through it, is getting the clients, finding the clients, keeping the clients. Now to be in that space where there's quote unquote some excess demand and you're able to step into it. Good luck to you. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of that story. If there was a pirate or a thief in your business, what would they be stealing from you?
That's a good question. I guess I was going to say intellectual property, but really it's the people, I think. Like losing people would be, because our industry in terms of like engineering and what we do, our resources is our people.
And is it a cultural thing, or is it simply the knowledge they have and the experience they have?
It's the knowledge and experience that they have.
In 12 years, what was your definition? I think you alluded to it, but I want to go back. Early on when you started 12 years ago, you probably had a definition of a successful business. And is it the same today, and has it changed? What does it look like? What is your current definition of a successful business?
Certainly when I started, as I mentioned, it wasn't really in my vision to kind of have a company with more than myself involved. So that's certainly changed now. For the vision now, like we would like to get to, I think that 20 to 30 people mark in terms of being kind of like still small, but a larger organization certainly than what we are, and that we've maintained that reputation that we've currently developed, which I think is probably the biggest aspect for me is that reputation.
Okay. What are you known for? When it's all said and done, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, what do you want to be known for?
I think in terms is solving problems, being there to help deliver these projects. You see in the industry a lot of issues with delivery of rail transit projects right now, and there's various reasons that would probably go into a thesis to determine. But we want to be known as that organization that works with the clients, works with the contractors to solve problems and deliver successful projects that people can be proud of, and that kind of change the landscape for the cities and the environment that they're applied to.
Thank you. And I guess lastly, shameless plug. Who's your ideal client? Who should find you? And then more importantly, where would they find you to get more information to engage with you?
Yeah, so we can be contacted through our website, so tsrengineering.ca. In terms of our ideal clients, like we work across the board for transit agencies, municipalities, government agencies that are delivering the projects. We've also worked for on the contractor side in terms of delivering the actual design and build of the systems, and we've worked directly with vendors supplying signaling systems and rolling stock. So we work across the board. We don't have kind of like necessarily a preference in terms of where we sit within a project delivery.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. The answers were succinct and to the point. Keep up the good work. I always find it interesting in all the interviews we do, these niche little pockets of people doing things that obviously make a lot of sense, but not always top of mind. And so here's hoping we can help make what you do a little more top of mind for the folks you're looking to serve. Thank you very much and have a great week.
Great. Thanks very much.